Hey peeps, I wanted to update you because I'm so grateful that you guys have gotten right on my prayer request. There's been a lot of views, and I know that there's a lot of good hearts out there who pray, and I so appreciate it. Rachel, my oldest daughter, she has been through the mill in the last 5 years. Before COVID began, something happened in her apartment building. See, she lives in Texas, in southern Texas to be exact, and it's it's one of those areas where you have the very well-to-do and the very poor. And it seems to me in that area, from what I've seen in her life, there are so many slumlords. I mean, places that literally should be torn down are being rented to the poor and never fixed. So she was in an apartment and became extremely ill after, I think, a neighbor had some sort of leak happened in the wall. They took it down and it was covered in black mold. They didn't bleach it. They didn't dry it out. They simply replaced a pipe and sealed it back in. Rachel started to get very sick, and so did her dog. Their hair was falling out. They were covered in outbreaks, having respiratory problems, and she couldn't afford the mold testing, which was $800. She talks to her landlord, and they're not going to do anything about it. So she had to give up that apartment 5 years ago. And ever since, she's been staying at a friend's apartment with similar problems. So at first, things were good there, and her hair grew back, her dog got better, and then the upstairs apartment, her autistic son left the water running, and because all the drains have problems with draining and they won't fix it, he left it on and it overflowed, flooded everything, and came down through the walls once again. And no one's doing anything about the mold. They went in and they dried out, to the best of their really pathetic abilities, the upstairs apartment that was leaking into Rachel's friend's apartment. And she's getting very sick again, mainly fatigue. She just feels so exhausted. Now, she has a lot of medical problems. I'm not even going to get into it. And she suffers a lot, like I do, with this overwhelming fatigue, the all-over muscle pain, and just a lot of other issues like psoriatic arthritis, and it's bad, and it knocks her way down. And her and I can relate to each other, but when she tries to tell her friends, no, I can't go anywhere, I'm too ill, I'm exhausted, I'm aching, I don't feel well, they don't understand. You've got to snap out of it. And unless you've had a chronic illness, an autoimmune disease like lupus or what have you, you really don't understand. You don't know what it's like. Or, I've heard people say about fibromyalgia, and I know this is utter and total bullcrap. It couldn't have been fibromyalgia, not really. Not with the chronic fatigue syndrome anyway. They say, I just pushed myself. If you have true fibromyalgia, you could push till the days come home, and you're still going to have fallen and not be able to get up, okay? That's just fibromyalgia. You have a jar with 3 jelly beans. If you use 5 jelly beans, you're in serious trouble. You have a deficit of jelly beans. You have a deficit of energy, and you're not going to push yourself anywhere. Maybe someone else will be pushing you around in a wheelchair, but you're not going to be pushing it. It is hell to wash my dishes. Yeah. Just to stand there with a sponge, reach, rinse. I'm like, will this ever end? I gotta lay down. It's that bad. The pain, the fatigue, the spasms. You can push yourself off a frickin' cliff and there's not gonna be any more energy. You get so many jelly beans in your jar, okay, and you get no more. And on top of this, she has so many other issues, you know. So she bought a little canned ham camper. It's been sitting over a year and a half, maybe 2 now. Finally, she finds someone who says he's going to get it roadworthy, get all, you know, make sure there's no mold, etc. He came recommended, okay, by a very good friend of hers. And now her friend has abandoned her and will not go over. He's a neighbor of the guy who's fixing it, which is 6 hours away from Rachel, okay? So she's already really sick. She can't be driving 6 hours checking up with this guy. So the last thing we heard is that he started working on another project when he's supposed to finish her camper by April 1st. Well, I think we all can agree that it's well past April 1st. And now the woman, his daughter-in-law, who has allowed these trailers on her property, says they've got to be gone in a month. And I don't know if this is city, it very well may be, but she said 30 days you've got, and these trailers have to be, he just keeps buying trailers, I guess. Obviously he's not playing with a full deck, and we need a miracle. Rachel needs her camper. She needs to get out of the place she's in now because of the, you know, she says, when I leave here, Mom, and when I walk away from it for a day, I feel better. But she just can't afford the rents, $1,500. She can't afford it. That's why she's staying in the living room of a friend's house now for 5 years. 5 years. She stayed through the COVID thing, and then she just was stuck because she couldn't do her shows and she was broke. Now she's trying to build back up. She bought that camper. It's not working out. It's kind of like my van. Yeah, only worse. Please continue to pray for her. I wanted to give you a background on it, okay? So you know what's going on. And it's breaking my heart. You know, it makes my face tighten up like I feel like if I smile, my face is going to crack. I'm that stressed out about what's happening to my kid. I can't do anything. I've offered her. I said, come here. I'll say you're caregiving me. So just come here. You can stay as long as you want. But just like me, Florida does not agree with her. She says the body aches and pains I will have if I'm over there, it just isn't worth it. And she said all of my shows are in Texas. And her dog, you know, there's her dog who sheds quite a bit, a cute little thing, but yeah, I'd probably be driven crazy by, you know, dog fur and her fur that she works with to make her ears and tails for anime and Comic-Con conventions. She's exhausted and she's having trouble doing her work. And I don't know. I just don't know. All I can do is beg God, pray, and say, please, help her. And now Bonnie, my youngest girl, over a week ago, fell while skiing. Her leg is messed up pretty bad. And she just had an MRI, and she'll know Monday if it's an ACL tear, which she's heartbroken because she's another one who has been struggling and finally has found a good life out west. And she loves the town she's in, and she's very active, and she's had all these plans for hiking and camping and trips. And now she might be nursing a torn ACL, and we don't know yet. So I'm begging you to please start praying for Bonnie as well. Boy, when it rains, it pours, guys. And that's pretty much it. And for me, I'm having my own struggles, and I appreciate any prayers you send my way. I'm sorry I haven't done like a prayer video to cover everybody, but God knows we're out there. He knows the list. Sometimes I just pop up the list in my phone and I go over the names. So if you can just pick any of my prayer videos and the list of names are there and you can pray. Prayer works. I really, really sincerely believe it works, but I'm stressed out right now because sometimes it doesn't work in the timing that we'd like. And whatever happens with this, Rachel's willing to accept if the guy's a total lunatic and the poor little camper, plus another camper he bought for parts, said he would test it and he didn't. And so she paid for that too. Not as much as for the canned ham, of course, but now there's no knowing if those parts work. It's a nightmare of epic proportions. It really is for her. She's just trying to find an affordable way to get out of that apartment and try to get better with her little doggy, who's having still the pancreatic problems. He's quite miserable, and she's changed his diet, and it's costing money. She has to feed him real food, ground turkey, sweet potatoes, and something else she puts in it for him. And I guess, it's got to be very low fat because of his pancreatitis, and he's just been a little miserable doggy. Why? Why is there always something? Always stress over something. I know it could be worse, but when you're in the middle of stuff, it feels rough. It feels rough. So thank you for hearing me out. Thank you for praying, really and truly. Please don't stop. Please don't stop until this camper issue and the ACL and with my poor Bonnie are both resolved, and I'll update you on Bonnie's ACL after I hear the news on Monday. Just please pray that if it's a tear, it's a very tiny one. She did get a fractured bone in her kneecap, and that's why she's quite frightened that it's very it goes along with the ACL tear, this particular bone that literally a chunk came right out of it. And yeah, thank God she has a home, a remote job, so she can try to recover. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, and love you all, and I pray for you all, those that are on my list and those that aren't. I appreciate you being here, truly I do. We're not making a lot of money, but that's okay. If we're helping others, and in return I ask for your help through prayer, I really appreciate all of your prayers and all of your good thoughts. Send them along, guys. Bye.